What's up, guys? We are looking at a massive escalation in the Middle East that the White House is trying to play down, but the facts on the ground tell a much scarier story. Despite the official end of major operations, things just went south in the water overnight. While exiting the Strait of Hormuz, 3 U.S. destroyers came under direct fire. Preliminary reports point the finger at Iranian-backed proxies, or even Iran's own coastal defense systems. This follows a string of drone swarms and U.S. retaliatory strikes we saw on May 7th and 8th. Luckily, the Navy says our ships are still combat effective, and the damage is limited. But the real shocker is how the White House responded. President Trump gave a wild assessment of the attack, calling it a love tap. It's pretty clear Washington is desperate to avoid sliding back into a full-scale shooting war, even when our destroyers are getting shot at. Before we go deeper, this situation is changing by the hour. If you want to stay ahead of the curve on what's actually happening in the Gulf without the mainstream media fluff, hit that subscribe button right now.
The double blockade deadlock. Right now, the Strait of Hormuz is under a double blockade. Shipping is paralyzed, and the vibe is incredibly tense. On the diplomatic front, there is zero direct contact between DC and Tehran. We're basically playing telephone through Pakistan, and it's not working. Trump's stance. He's sticking to his ultimatum, demanding Iran scrap its nuclear program and ditch its proxies entirely. He recently called Tehran's latest peace offer unacceptable. Iran's stance. They're saying no way to negotiations under fire and sanctions, calling Trump's terms a demand for total surrender.
While the Gulf is simmering, D.C. is in a full-blown meltdown over the legality of this whole thing. Under the 1973 War Powers Act, the president needs congressional approval to keep fighting after 60 days. That clock ran out on May 1st. To dodge a floor vote he might lose, Trump officially notified Speaker Mike Johnson that combat operations have been terminated. Chuck Schumer isn't buying it. He called the president's claim bullshit, pointing out that thousands of American troops are still in the line of fire and the naval blockade is still active. The American public is feeling the burn, and the polls reflect it. Trump's approval has tanked to 34 to 37%, the lowest of his second term. Buyer's remorse? 61% of Americans now say the Iran operation was a mistake. Over 60% of voters blame the president for the massive spike in gas prices. We've already burned through $25 billion on this operation, and analysts say the real black budget number is likely way higher. Even MAGA stalwarts like Marjorie Taylor Greene are turning, accusing the administration of betraying the America First agenda by draining our treasury for another foreign war. By the way, if you find this breakdown helpful, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell. We're diving into the economic fallout of the Iran crisis in our next video, and you won't want to miss it. Inside the administration, it's a mess. There's a major rift between Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and the civilian leadership of the military branches. We've already seen the Secretary of the Navy, John Phelan, walk out the door because of the friction. Despite the chaos, Hegseth is doubling down, claiming the U.S. is on a hair trigger and ready to blow Iran's energy infrastructure off the map if the ceasefire completely snaps. As of mid-May 2026, the U.S. is stuck in a frozen conflict abroad and a political and economic nightmare at home. The White House is calling missile attacks love taps just to keep the lid on a domestic explosion. What do you guys think? Is this a love tap or the start of something much worse? Let me know in the comments.